Thero Saranai, dear Kalyana. To introduce myself, I am Venerable Damita from Podgulgala Aranya in Kegol. I ordained in year 2007 under late Venerable Katukurunde Jnanananda Thero. Later I had the opportunity to visit Perth, Australia to learn meditation under Venerable Ajahn Brahmawanso Thero. Afterwards I spent few years in Thailand in Ajahn Chah monasteries. Some of you already know me from Ajahn Brahm Society weekend retreats, which I have been teaching on and off since last year. Due to the epidemic situation we are experiencing right now, we haven't been able to do our monthly weekend retreats. So we thought to share some Dhamma reflections with you all as an encouragement for your practice. So today's topic I'm going to talk about is going refuge. Going refuge in Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. When we take 5 precepts or when we do daily chantings also, it involves taking 3 refuges. And somebody asked me once whether it is necessary that we take 3 refuges as a daily practice. So my answer was that the important thing should be whether we have really submit ourselves to the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, and how serious we are to follow their advice. So if we got that correct, reciting it daily also a good practice. It reminds us that we are in refuge of Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Something struck me. It is not once or twice, actually it is 3 times. So doing it 3 times itself suggests that it should be very important. When we look at the suttas, we see several instances that how early Buddhists, how they would go refuge. So a usual scenario is that a layperson would reach to Lord Buddha and he gives them a teaching, and he or she, having inspired by his teachings, they would proclaim to Lord Buddha that may Lord Buddha remember me as a lay disciple from here onwards, who has gone refuge of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha for life. So that's how the early Buddhists would put it. This is a very common phenomena in the suttas, and it's like a stock phrase if you like. And as monastics, when we go forth, first you become a novice monk, and the ceremony for becoming a novice monk also mainly about going refuge of Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. So once you recite it, then practically you are a novice monk, a samanera. When you enter to the order, you understand what the refuge means. So it's very important as monastics we truly go refuge in Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And the question one can ask is, why we go refuge? Because the term refuge might lead us to think that I have been living a reasonably good life and I'm not in a desperate situation. And of course I appreciate what the Lord Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha advise me, but does it have to be that serious? Now, if we think about our lives in terms of the refuge, we do already have our own refuges, so to speak. Our body, it's a big refuge for us. It almost defines who we are. We identify ourselves with that. And our sense of self, the things we possess, the social status, the wealth, our family, things we relate to. So we have been depending on these things. We have built our lives around these things, around these social norms. Now Lord Buddha comes along and questions this belief. because we have been conditioned to do so. We have told to build our securities on top of these things. Generation after generation we have been doing like this. Now let's focus on Four Noble Truths. Now the Four Noble Truths are the four pillars of the Buddhism, so to speak. Lord Buddha explains Four Noble Truths in many suttas. It has been very essential teaching in Buddhism. And Lord Buddha says it's the very reason that there is a teacher called Lord Buddha, and it plays a very essential role in right view. So the idea is that Lord Buddha says, just to be realistic, that there is suffering in human lives. The very things we have been depending on are basically part of the 8 worldly dhammas. What are the 8 worldly dhammas? Gain and loss, fame and disgrace, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. So the things we have been appreciating in our entire lives, like pleasure, gain, fame, praise, are essentially the pleasant half of the 8 worldly dhammas. It's a part of the story. It's the one side of the coin. So going refuge in Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha involves that questioning the current sense of security, which turn out to be a false sense of security. And when we do go refuge in Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, that means we do respect the triple gem. We submit ourselves. We give up our own ideas and opinions. Instead, we follow what the Buddha Dhamma says, what the Sangha says about what should be the right practice, what should be the right thing to do towards your liberation. In other words, you give up your sense of self, your ego, and allow the Dhamma to condition you, the Kalyana Mittas to condition you towards the Nibbana. Now, according to the suttas, once you become a stream winner, there are these 4 qualities you would possess. You have firm confidence in Lord Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and you have a pure sila. So, once you become a stream winner, once you accomplish the refuge which you have been taking, becomes a firm confidence in Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, born out of conviction, born out of your own experience. So if I were to summarize what I have been trying to say here, the Buddhist practitioner has to take Four Noble Truths very seriously. There are problems, there is suffering, and once the individual recognizes there is a problem, hence the refuge, then there is a possibility to liberate themselves from that. The purpose of going refuge is become more clear. It has a true meaning to that. And taking refuge is part of the solution, which leads us to liberation. So before I conclude my reflections, let me tell you an analogy. Imagine that you have a family doctor. Your parents, your grandparents have been consulting him, and they have enormous respect in him, and they say, go and see him, ask for some advice, get him prescribe you something. But you are not convinced that why should you suddenly go and see this person, but out of respect, out of courtesy for your family, you go and see this doctor. Sir, I'm so and so, and my parents speak highly of you, and they asked me to come and see you, ask some advice. But to be honest, I'm not sure what exactly I am taking medicine for. I don't see any health issues right now. So I think you get the idea what this analogy means. It basically explains a traditional situation as Buddhists we are in. Only if you see you have some health issues, then seeing a doctor has its meaning. So I hope this helps. I would like to encourage you to carry on with your practice and make good use of time we have in our hands right now. And having gone the refuge of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you understand Four Noble Truths in this very life. Thank you for listening. Thero Saranai.